Welcome back to the Love Fix, guys. Once again, it's Nick doing my best to tell you the truth so you can get through your breakups as healthily as possible. And I wish everybody a very Merry Christmas. So, let's try and get you on the path to recovery through this horrible time that you're going through. So today's subject will be the dumper exposed. And what this is about is why the dumpee actually has the advantage on the breakup and why the dumper is actually at the disadvantage. As always, if you've been liking this content, give me a like, hit subscribe. It really helped the channel out. We're very close to 1,000 subscribers now. I know in YouTube terms that's not much, but for a small channel like me, it's a hell of a lot. So thank you so much for the support. Let's get into it, shall we? Now, before I get into this, I'm going to assume that you had a good relationship with your ex. I'm going to assume that at least 80% of that relationship was positive. I'm going to assume that it was only the last few months where things went wrong. And I'm going to assume that there was no physical or mental abuse of any kind. That includes cheating, narcissism, you name it. So why do you, the dumpee, have the advantage right now? And the reason for that is because as the dumpee, you are forced to face your feelings almost immediately. You are forced to confront reality. You are forced to level up, and you are forced to go away and try to improve yourself. And that's just a natural response to trying to make yourself feel better. And while you're doing that, the dumper, they're going through their own journey right now. But it's on the opposite end of the spectrum right now. They're in relief. They've quite likely been building this up for quite some time because, as I've said before, breakups don't just happen. Your partner doesn't wake up one day and just think it would be fun to dump you. No, they've been thinking about it for a while. So they've got it out the way now. It's done. They can go and do all the things that they've wanted to do. They can go to the nightclubs. They don't have to answer to anybody. They can go and meet new people. They can have a bit of alone time. But a lot of the time, that wears off very quickly. They start to get dumper's remorse. They start to revisit the situation, assuming that you stayed no contact, assuming that you've not pestered them, assuming that you've not begged and pleaded, and you've just respected their wishes, and you just let them go off on their own path. And as the saying goes, as cliche as this is, if you love me, you'll let me go. It's actually very good advice. Because when the dumper is saying to you, hey, I no longer want to be romantic with you. I want space. I want to be away. One of the best things that you can do is to listen, understand, and respect their decision. As much as that sucks donkey balls, you just need to leave them be. So while you're now licking your wounds, and I have every sympathy for you, because let's face it, guys, a breakup sucks. Doesn't matter what side of the fence you're on. It's a big life change for both the dumper and the dumpee. It really hurts on both sides. It's a big life change. So the dumper has considered somewhat the potential consequences of coming away from you. But maybe in the heat of the moment, that deciding to break up with you may be a bit of a knee-jerk reaction, and this is why you need to leave them alone. But this is where we can expose them a little bit, because they get cold, they get distant. They're the ones that are initiating the process to break up with you. They're the ones that are taking the advantage. They're taking initiative. They have planned this out in their head, and a lot of time maybe you're just completely sideswiped and you had no idea this was coming. Or maybe you did. Maybe you felt it coming, but you was just too scared to admit it to yourself. But after, sometimes it might even be a week, sometimes it could be a couple of months, sometimes it could be a year, sometimes, guys, I've coached people where they've told me their exes have come back after 5 years. It does happen. And I've even had an ex come back to me after a couple of years before. It does happen. Whether the reconciliation is successful or not is a different story for another time. But they do a lot of the time reconsider the breakup. They do reconsider their life because you've given them what they wanted. You've given them the breakup. You've agreed to it. And the consequences of that is that they no longer have any access to you. And now, once the euphoria and the novelty of a breakup has worn off, and their friends are too busy to see them, their family are too busy to see them, they have no money to go out with, it's the first weekend that they have to spend in by themselves, or the holidays are coming up and it's the first holiday without you, I promise you guys, they will, at one point or another, revisit your relationship in their head. And now, this is where the relief starts to wear off. This is where they start moving towards anxiety, and you're moving towards relief because you've been doing the work on yourself. You've accepted the situation that, hey, maybe they never come back. And now, this is where the power advantage or dynamic switches back to you, because they are revisiting it. And maybe now they reach out. Maybe they add you back onto social media. Maybe they check out a story. Maybe they send you a text to wish you happy holidays. And when you get that text message, or you get some kind of response from them, or just some kind of initiation that they're showing some kind of curiosity towards you, you're now in a position of where, okay, I've done all this work on myself. I'm in a good place. I can take it or leave it. I know how to respond. But now their curiosity, the dumper's curiosity, is turning into anxiety because you're not giving it any mind. So now they're starting to think, okay, maybe this relationship wasn't so bad. Maybe I just reacted to a perfect storm. There was lots of little things going on. Maybe it was situational. Maybe it was emotional. Who knows? And now they start thinking about the last place that they felt safe. Just like you, the Dumpee, you think about the last place that you felt safe, and that was with your ex. And now you're moving towards relief. You've gone past the halfway mark. You've done your crying. You've done the therapy. You've done the coaching. You've done a lot of the leveling up. You've even maybe started just dipping your toe in the water and started dating again. But they've already done that, and it hasn't worked out for them. And now they are questioning their future. They are questioning, can they find anybody as good as you? So when it really comes down to it, they do go through pain themselves. They do go through their own version of it. It might not be straight away. It might be, like I say, 6 months, 12 months, 24 months down the line. But they will experience it. Whether they come back or not, whether they reach out or not, is a different thing. But if you're going to take some kind of solace in the fact that you have been dumped, and it is one of the worst feelings you can ever come across or ever go through, know that your ex, the dumper, will go through their own version of breakup pain. Now, I can give you a good example, and I haven't told anybody this, is that after my breakup, which was, I don't know, we're kind of like 19, 20 months ago now, I can't remember how long ago it is now. When I picked up my stuff and I picked up my TV from my ex's house, and I was just setting it up in my new place, getting all the Wi-Fi sorted, and I logged onto YouTube, I could see that she had been listening to breakup songs, all these broken-hearted songs with, you know, very deep, intense lyrics. And for a while, I sat there thinking, what does this mean? What does this mean? What does this mean? And reality is, it didn't really mean much. It just meant that she was going through her own version of it. You know, that she is human. She's a person like me. And just because she was the one to initiate the breakup doesn't mean that she wasn't going through pain. It's a big life change for both parties, especially if you've been together for more than, I'd say, 6 months, maybe a year. It's a big, big change. And we as people are exceptionally good at assigning meaning and patterns to things that are random and complete bullshit because it fits our confirmation bias. So because And this comes up in almost every coaching call that I do with you guys. Someone will say something like, oh, I saw them viewing my story. They added me again on Instagram or social media, and I think it means this. And translation to that is that we're coming up with meanings that fit our confirmation bias. We're coming up with theories to fit the facts, but we should be ignoring our theories and just looking at the facts. Okay, they added you back on Facebook. They viewed your stories. What does it mean? Guys, it could mean something. It could mean nothing. And I always urge on the side of it means nothing until that person reaches out and says, I made a mistake. I want to talk. I want you back. It means nothing. Do not accept anything less than them giving you a phone call or texting to say, hey, I've reconsidered. I want to talk. I want you back. They walked out. They have to walk back in. And if they want to walk back in, they have to renegotiate with you. If they want to sit back at your table, you set the terms. Now, don't get me wrong. If you got shit horribly wrong in that relationship, then you need to change, you need to level up, and you need to correct the wrongs. But, as I say most of the time, it takes two people to get together. That means it takes two people to break up. And that's why I put the disclaimer at the start of this video that I'm going to assume that it was a good relationship and it only went wrong in the last few months and there was no kind of abuse. Because, trust me guys, the dumpers get a lot of shit wrong as well. Okay, now I've had many years to think about every ex that where I've been on the receiving end of being the dumpee, and now I can look back with more maturity, better awareness, education, and know that they got a lot of shit wrong as well, and it wasn't just me. Yeah, I got things wrong. I'm not blameless here, just like you're not blameless. But your ex did get things wrong. So the dumpers can become this godlike person and make you feel like you can never do any better than they are. And that you got everything wrong. It was completely your fault. But it wasn't. You are enough. You are a good person. And if you did have a good relationship and it only went wrong in the last few months and they chose not to work with you because that was the more challenging route and they took the easy route out, you know what, guys? Fuck them. They chose to walk away when they could have gone to counselling with you. They could have gone to relationship coaching. You could have sat down and hammered out an agreement and worked on it, because that's how old school relationships used to work, how marriages used to last 50, 60 years, because they used to work on it. You know, old school traditional men and women knew the score, knew it was important that you worked on things and that relationships are not smooth. In fact, you have to have the bad times in the relationships. You have to experience the pain of it going wrong from time to time so you can understand each other better, so that you can become closer and the relationship gets stronger. But your ex didn't want that. They've chosen an easier route. So when you think about it like that, do you really want them back? Are they really that great? And maybe now you can take them down off the pedestal and understand that, okay, you fucked up, but it wasn't just your fault. That's all I've got for today. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope this gets you through today and you can feel a little bit better. And if you need my help with your personal breakup situation, you can email me at thelovefix20@gmail.com for a coaching session, and I'll do my best to get you on the right path. Take it easy, and I'll see you on the other side.